Welcome to the Wrestle for Real podcast. We're reviewing Monday Night Raw, June 9th, 2025. Please don't forget to please don't forget to subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Got Spook on with me tonight, just going over the show. Definitely a lot to talk about, a lot to go over tonight. Jam-packed show, a lot of stars is in the building. So we're gonna get right into it. So we kicked off the show with John Cena coming out, cutting a promo, basically going over all the people he's beat, how many days he got left, and saying he's beat the best, and basically just doing what he's been doing this whole time. So definitely was a interesting promo. He seems to just be going through a bunch of challenges at this point, just going over whoever wants it. Basically can get it right now. So there ain't no much of a build up for a lot of these matches. He's just going through them. So CM Punk came out and interrupted him, and at that point, cutting a promo and giving us a little nostalgia, basically setting up what looks like it'll be a match in Saudi Arabia on June 28th for the title. I believe it's for the title. I'm not even. Yeah, I think it is for the title. So yeah, they're gonna definitely have a big one out there in Saudi, and there's a lot of money out there, so those guys want to go get the nice payday for that match. So I think it's a good look overall. Close to the end of that promo, Seth Rollins came out just to remind everybody with his team that he does hold that money in the bank, and therefore maybe holding all the cards, seeing what he want to do. So I think it was a good way to open the show. As we know, a lot of these promos are pretty much the most exciting parts of the show sometimes. So you have Seth Rollins out there, you got CM Punk out there, you got John Cena out there, Seth Rollins' whole crew. So it definitely was a good look. So what you thinking about CM Punk and John Cena getting back in the ring together, man? What you think about that?
Man, this is kind of quick. I missed the opening of the shows. You filling me in on this, man. This is I'm just trying to, I know it's he doing his tour, but like you said, I guess he going through them pretty quick, man, to try to, get to
Uh-huh.
this to get to the the farewell tour, man. I wouldn't have thought it would have been this quick though, man. I thought it would have been down the line, man. So this is
Uh-huh.
some real news to me, as far as this match going, man. Like he really, he definitely trying to get it over and done with, man. And I don't know, man. I'm just ready to see it, man, because this is this is a big match right here, man. CM Punk, John Cena, definitely gonna be a good one, man. And Night of
Yeah,
Champions.
they not wasting no time. They getting right to it. I think he said tonight it was 19 days left. So whatever that might look like, that might be a few days a month, a few dates a month for the next few months, until the end of the year. So we'll see how that go. Any scenario where you see CM Punk walking out of there with the title?
I mean, not with Seth, with this Money in the Bank, with in the hands of Seth, man. It's
Mm,
he's right around the corner, man. He's sitting in the crowd.
mm.
He's at the entrance ramp, ready to go, ready to run out, man. So it's hard to say. It's hard to say. Even if he do, Seth is definitely around the corner finna cash in on it, So it's hard to say. And like you said,
Yeah,
I think they're gonna let him finish up his run before. I mean, it's probably gonna be that last night before he get that belt up.
yeah, it's gonna be a interesting one. I'm not sure if I don't know. It seems kind of soon and early, but
Yeah.
it still is a lot of. It's still not many dates left for John Cena, so it's hard to say. He may lose that title surprisingly. Punk would be a great fit for that, especially if a cash in is on the other side of it. But I think for the sake of John Cena's story right now, he needs to hold on to it a little bit longer.
Mhm.
Not exactly sure if it needs to be his last date or something close to it, but we'll definitely see how that goes. But definitely gonna be a star-studded match. I don't think there's anything closing Saudi Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia other than this match. So after that we had Chad Gable and AJ Styles, obviously two guys that can go in the ring. There's been a little heat brewing between those two guys. But Chad Gable has been the workhorse right now. He's been the guy that's been on almost everything, whether it's El Grande Americano or whether he's at AAA. He was just in their main event. Now he's here with AJ Styles. So he's had a very busy weekend going right into Monday. So I don't know. I think Chad really, I don't know what title Chad needs, but I think he deserves something that says we appreciate how hard you've been working. in this matchup. He had with AJ Styles. AJ Styles did come out victorious in this one. What are you thinking about Chad Gable's trajectory right now? Where's he headed right now?
Well, I'm definitely with you on that as far as like a belt, man. He needs something
Mhm.
around his waist, man. Because, like I said, man, that man been working, man. He been working. He been promoting, man. He been promoting his team. He ain't letting nobody down as far as not letting them know that, hey, this is my squad. I'm here for these guys. I'm here to promote. I'm here to do what I got to do myself to get to the top. So yeah,
Mhm.
it's definitely right around his time, man, to get a belt. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I wouldn't say the championship belt, but definitely intercontinental, or I mean something, that could solidify his position in WWE right now.
Yeah, unfortunately for him, he's at a real crowded time. He's not on SmackDown, so that eliminates the possibility of um I think it's the United States title that Jacob Fatu holds.
Hmm.
Not to say that he would even get it from him, but Dominic Mysterio is a little closer. But I haven't even seen enough interactions there to know if that's a possibility or a realistic one.
Right, right.
Dominic really hasn't done much with the title so far. He's just kind of been holding it. So I don't know. I think it would be something to give to Chad because I don't know that any of us believe he's gonna be holding that World Heavyweight Championship anytime in the near future.
Yeah,
So
he still got left.
yeah, he just needs something that, really a way to say thank you for all your work. The man been going in. When it was time to go, he got Ray Phoenix a great match at WrestleMania. He was Penta's match when he first came in. He's just really been putting a lot of guys over, making everybody look good, even with AAA and the main event there with I think Vikingo is his name, making him look good, making those guys look good over there as well. So he's just been going crazy. So I think Chad is due for something. He might just be a good hand that stays right in that sort of tier, kind of sort of where Sami Zayn may be to some degree.
Hmm, hmm.
Just right there, just being really good, but not quite getting over the hump because right now it's just so crowded. I mean,
Yeah,
we're sitting here looking at the main event scene, and there's just so much going on. So, hopefully he'll get there and do something with him, man, because he definitely deserves it. He's entertaining. He's become a star. He's become important. He's getting segment after segment, matches in the ring. He's just doing it all right now. So after that, we had a little bit of backstage interaction with Liv Morgan and Roxanne, just a little bit more of they getting ready for their fatal four-way match, which was a Queen of the Ring match with Liv Morgan, Roxanne, Rhea Ripley, and Kyrie Sane. This match kind of went as expected. Nothing too much here. Rhea came out to a big pop, definitely still over with the audience and fans, and a lot of people assuming that was going to give her the keys to victory. But a little bit of interference from Raquel actually led to Roxanne stealing the victory and looking pretty she looked okay. I think we're gonna have to get used to a lot of these fatal four ways and triple threat matches just
yeah.
based on how crowded it is. It's not a lot of matches and it's not a lot of singles matches that's gonna happen. You really gotta be I think you gotta be special to get a singles match. So it's
Hmm.
definitely gonna be tough for them to get that. But what'd you think about this fatal four way and Roxanne pulling out the victory and on her way to try to become Queen of the Ring at Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia?
I think it was a good look for her, man. She definitely put in the work, man. You know what I'm
Mhm,
saying? Like, Rhea done had her time. Same thing with Liv. I mean, still in that pocket though. You know what I'm
mhm,
saying? Yeah, I mean, like I said, it was a good match, man. Roxanne deserved that W, man. Like you said, she has been taking some major L's when she was, first crossing over to the WWE
mhm,
main roster. You know what I'm saying? That was a good look, man. And as far as her getting ultimate W, I don't know about that, but tonight,
mhm.
good look for her.
Yeah, I've been rooting for Roxanne. I definitely been wanting to see her kind of come up and get a little shine. I think she has the potential to sit at the top of that roster. Once again, we really didn't see much of the champ tonight, so I don't know if they're just holding the title or what's going on there. But
Yeah, man. It's going on what, about 2.5 months since she had a match, or since she been a.
it's been a couple weeks because she had
Okay, okay,
the few matches with the tag team matches that she was doing with Rhea Ripley, and
gotcha.
the last time we seen her was when they beat I think it was Roxanne and Julie, if I'm not mistaken. But she's been just almost absent. I mean, at this point, they may need to just do a title match for the sake of just to remind everybody who's holding the championship.
Yeah.
But subsequently, we had a backstage promo after that with Nikki Bella backstage greeting some of the girls, Natalia, Maxine, Kyrie Sane, and Io Sky. And this was Io Sky's, it may have been her only time on camera tonight. I'm not sure. I believe it was. So it was just basically her thanking for Nikki Bella for breaking down some barriers and helping to open up some additional doors and leading into what the women have been able to do inside of the ring. So we didn't see much of Io Sky, but it was a good look for Nikki Bella at that point, just to kind of get her introduced as she got ready to start making her way out there. After that, Becky Lynch came out and she cut a nice promo, still fiery and wanting to put the stuff with her and Lyra Valkyria behind her, obviously, now that she's the champion. I'm glad she's the champion. I think it gives some more legs to this rivalry because I don't think it's time for Lyra to kind of step aside. I think she really needs this right now. So I'm not really sure how they're gonna play this out, but once she was out there, Lyra came out looking like she was ready to throw some hands and go,
Hmm.
forward with her. And
Hmm.
Bailey showed back up, attacked her from behind, and now it gets a little interesting. I don't know if this leads to just Becky and Bailey, and we go a little classic right now, or we're going to find a way to get Lyra in there, because it can be very easy to go either way. So,
For a
where you see them going?
time for a triple threat match now.
Triple threat. Yeah, I mean it could be, but I don't know if Bailey and Lyra have much beef right now. They seem to be working together. So I'm not sure what happens here. I don't know where they're going with this. I don't know where they're going.
I don't know, but I like it though. You know what I'm saying? Because it gives, it gives Becky that opportunity to show what she got now. Again,
Hmm.
like you said, Baylor just dropped back on the scene. Her wants her belt back. Yeah, either gonna be like a match between Lyra and Bailey to fight Becky, or put them all in there. Like you said, that's the only way everybody gonna get that TV time. Is that everybody got to be in the ring at one time. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? So it go have to, maybe the first thing they do is the a Becky and a Lyra match, and then maybe try to do the triple threat. At that point, anyway, go all three of them gonna be in the ring at one time. And so that's really the only way to get all three at one time. You know, on the scene to be able to wrestle for the belt. I mean, that'd be a good look. They can really push that about another two PLEs. They can definitely push that another two PLEs to, kind of see who's gonna be the ultimate one in the end.
Yeah, I think they're both. One thing I can say is Becky and Bailey, who definitely had quite their run previously, and to some degree can still have a little bit of a run,
Mhm.
are definitely trying to doing whatever they can to get Lyra over and get her some more exposure because without them too, she was really just floundering away before Bailey saved her. And she was more in the spotlight for having that women's tag team championship for the short reign that it lasted being beside Bailey than she was for having that intercontinental championship the
Mhm.
entire time. And then enter Becky, and now she's still getting a lot of TV time, and it's not too crowded where she is. All the women seem to be doing something else right now, so it's kind of just her and Becky, and now Bailey. So it's got a little bit of potential here. I think it could last a while, definitely into SummerSlam, August at least what they're trying to do here. So we're gonna see. I'm hoping Lyra comes out of this, on the positive side, because I think she has potential. She just needs something else. And maybe while they're figuring that out, she got these two that can really help her out because they've done this song and dance, so they don't need to do, this is really about Lyra at this particular point. So
Yeah, true that. True that.
she might, maybe gain her title back at some point. We had after that one. So after that one, almost right as that all of that chaos was ending, our truth pops up on the announce table. Our truth was released, or well, not he wasn't released. His contract wasn't renewed. The fans did not like that once word got out. They created a very big fuss about that, the IWC, and subsequently, our truth came out to let everybody know he was the reason that they was the reason we, the fans, the audience, was the reason that they brought him back. And I think it was I don't know if it how all of this went behind the scenes, but it brought him back. He's now back, losing the R Truth gimmick or moniker or whatever you want to call it, and deciding he's just going to be Ron Killings, I guess the more serious version of himself, and maybe more of a mean streak there. So whatever
Mhm.
happened allowed this door to kind of open. I'm not sure where this goes or how this goes, or if it's even going to be related to John Cena based on what we've seen in the opening segment. Cena's got his hands full, and we didn't see any interaction with Cena and R-Truth. So I'm not really sure if he's going to be able to sustain a presence on Monday Night Raw or even SmackDown without Cena being in the picture. And if he does, I don't know what that's going to look like. But he did cut his hair on TV, which was wild. But it was probably time for the hair to go. And I don't know if somebody finally got through to him, if an uncle or a cousin or somebody finally was like, "Truth, Ron." Um,
Let it
yeah, it had moments. There was moments on his head where the hair was flourishing and thriving. And then there was some other times, on that same head where the hair just wasn't
wasn't there.
it just wasn't doing what it was, originally doing in the past. So, but he had his moment. The crowd loved it. Everybody ate it up. He said he's ready for the next chapter. So, what are you expecting to see from our truth moving forward?
Well, like you said, man, I think he's gonna definitely, take it a little bit more serious, man. I mean, it wasn't that he wasn't taking it serious, but I mean, he did his thing as far as keeping that comical side, man, keeping the crowd interacting, keeping the crowd laughing, man, and stuff like that. So, I like this little run, man. Now he finna get on this serious tip, man. You know, maybe let him hold the belt for a couple weeks or so, and
Mhm.
lose it off to somebody, man. Just to say that he was really trying to, take his career to the next level, because everybody thought, maybe he was a joke or he was just that character that that just come out and make you laugh, whatever like that. So now he's gonna really, take his talents and make it serious right about it.
Yeah. So, we gonna see. Once again, this is another situation where it's hard to predict where they're going with this,
Hmm.
because it's only but so much more he can do with John Cena, in my opinion. I'm not sure what else is there, especially with everybody else getting so involved. The Night of Champions is like 3 weeks away, maybe. So they got to build up to, that CM Punk match and probably the intrigue of Seth Rollins possibly cashing in. I don't know if it leaves a lot of room for our truth in that. I don't know what title he would get. That's the only thing. I'm not, again, it's that same, it's like, man, it will be tough. It will be tough.
Man, they need to bring some of them old belt back, man. What he had a hardcore belt or something like
Yeah,
that.
hardcore. I think he's had, there was a European title at one point. There was a 24/7 championship at one point.
Yeah, you know.
I don't know. It's so many titles, but now it's so many people on this roster that you wonder, how can they get their shine if they're not the champs
Right.
and maintain, being in segments every week. So even this week was a very, very quiet week for Seth Rollins and the crew. It was a
Hmm.
very quiet week for them. So coming off of a very big win, we didn't really see much of them. But so we're gonna keep following that R Truth journey right now. Everybody's glad he's back. Not the jovial, happy R Truth that we're used to seeing, but maybe something a little bit more interesting that the fans haven't seen. Unless they really probably pay more attention to his TNA days, but we'll get to see it on the in WWE, I guess, here pretty soon.
Hmm.
Um, After that, we had a Judgment Day backstage segment. After Roxanne's victory, they basically were just recapping and discussing everything backstage with JD and Raquel and Dominic and the whole crew. Every Monday we got to get our Judgment Day segment. So
Hmm.
it seems like they still may be on the verge of imploding at some point. What you think about Judgment Day's pending explosion happening?
It's getting good. It's getting good. I like this, man, and I like this new Finn, man. You know what I'm saying? He's back.
Um,
He's back into it. He's back
he's
happy.
got a
He's
little
back happy.
personality.
Yeah, man. He's definitely trying to make Dom look like the bad guy, man. And
Mhm.
like you said, at some point, man, it's them two finna go to blows. You know what I'm saying? I don't know when, I don't know where, but them two will go to blows, man, because it's like Finn keep trolling him, man, just trying to make him look bad. You know what I'm saying? Trying to make this whole little Roxanne and trying to get her to fit in, and Liv don't want that, Raquel don't want that, man. So at some point, it's gonna blow up, man. Dom is either he gonna really say something to Finn, and it go to blows at that point. But this whole little interaction there, man, is really getting good.
Yeah,
I like
I
how they
think
changed it.
I think Finn probably needs this since Dom has that title and JD has always been just more of a kind of there sort of guy. When the dust settles though, do you think once Finn Balor is done being the messy, having this personality, once when you're on the other side and that breakup that we believe is happening finally happens, are we still gonna care about Finn Balor?
Not really. I wouldn't say he's gonna be much of a still as far as like a showcase. I
Oh,
mean, it's just like you said, this is just much of as much as like a build up right now, man. You know what I'm saying? Like the whole Judgment Day right now is like you said, one centimeter away from blowing up, and
oh,
everybody just have to go back and find their own way to basically make it. You know what I'm saying? But as long as they keep doing this, keep having these little mini feuds, so not necessarily feuds, but just these little mini bickering or whatever like that. Like I said, at some point it's gonna come to a head, and Finn and Dom gonna go at it. But like I said, once they break up, or once this whole little thing blows up, it's pretty much over at that point. You know what I'm saying? Everybody gonna have to try to climb back to the top and recreate themselves or rebrand themselves. So yeah, there
mm.
ain't really nothing that Finn is gonna do that's gonna really, take him over the edge again and make him, a number one superstar.
Yeah, he may need to milk this for as long as he can because I don't know. Sometimes the journey that we see is better than the destination. Once he gets there, he may not really have much else left. And we just don't know. I don't know what he's going to be able to do to stay in a relevant position outside of Judgment Day and outside of this whole situation being as messy as it's getting. But if they really rocking with him, the decision makers and the creative team, maybe they'll find a way to make something happen for him because it's really no place you can go. NXT is getting crowded. TNA has they all have their own people that they want to get up and bring up to the next level. So it's not like you can just go anywhere. You got to make it on this roster, or you go find yourself, in a situation like what happened to R Truth or what happened to Carlito,
Hmm.
sort of getting released and kind of just fading away. Non-contracts not getting renewed. Braun Strowman went through it. A lot of different people. So, one of those things where we just gonna see what happens with Finn Balor. So after that, we had the crew in the back, the regime, the big dogs, Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, Paul Heyman in the back. Basically hyping Braun Breaker up for his fatal four way match that was coming up for the King of the Ring tournament. So sending him out there, and we did get a package from AAA's. I believe it's the Iguana guy. Did you watch the AAA Worlds Collide? Did you see the Mr. Iguana?
No, 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 I didn't see that.
Yeah, so he's been kind of getting a little fanfare based on his gimmick. So they did show a little preview. Maybe he may be on his way to do a little bit more with the WWE. So, but in the midst of all that, we did get to the Fatal Four Way match with Dominic Mysterio, Penta, Braun Breaker, and Sami Zayn. I thought this was a better Fatal Four Way match than the one we seen earlier. There was a lot going on here. A lot of guys that we are interested in seeing. Braun Breaker being associated with where he's at right now, Dominic having that title, Penta being a fan favorite, as is Sami Zayn. So you had a lot of reasons to watch this match. It didn't feel like anybody was just sort of thrown in there. There was
Yeah.
a belief that anybody could have won,
Hmm.
and at the end of it all, Sami Zayn was able to pull out the victory. I thought I don't know. I don't know because the tournament still has a couple of rounds left. It's hard to say if Sammy is the right choice based on whoever may end up winning and coming out on top in that whole ordeal. But I definitely think it was a good night for Sami Zayn, and he might end up being that guy, that does walk out of Night of Champions as the King of the Ring. So, what do you think about this Fatal Four Way match and Sami Zayn pulling it off?
I was happy for Sammy, man, when when he raised his hand at the end, man. He did his thing, man. He was up against some good opponents. You know what I'm saying? Dom, Penta, Braun. Braun is always in there ready to destroy whoever
Mhm.
he faces, he touches, he looks at. He always ready to go.
Yeah, for sure.
Penta, he did his thing. Like you said before, man, I think they need to keep him moving around. You know what I'm saying? I don't think, like you say, he's ready for no big belt or anything like that. But just keep giving them reps, keep giving them reps. maybe closer to the end of the year, maybe, maybe throw something at his way, whether he can get some kind of title at that point. Like I said, yeah, it was a real good match, man. I can't believe Dom got pinned at the end, you know what I'm saying? But everybody else was down, so he was more of the one that would, easily get the W over us.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Dom he has a title, so I always feel like it just kind of doesn't make sense for that person to win.
Right, right.
When you're holding the championship, you already kind of have something. So, and with it being so crowded, it really don't make sense for somebody who's already got their place on the card to
Right.
really win that. And Sami Zayn probably needed it more than everybody, with Dom being a champ, Penta being a very over fan favorite that everybody want to see come up and win, and Braun Breaker being a part of this faction that is really been a little dominant right now. Everybody seems to be in a pretty good spot
Mhm.
other than Sami Zayn. So we'll see if it continues. There's another fatal four way next week between the women and the men. So we'll see who he'll be facing. So they're going to run through this tournament pretty quickly because Night of Champions is coming up so fast. So they don't really have a lot of
Yeah.
time to build up. And that's why they just took 8 guys and did 2 fatal 4 way matches. Same thing with the women. Well, not 8. I think it's 16. So I think we're gonna see some fatal 4 ways on SmackDown as well, if I'm not mistaken. And they're just kind of rushing through it. So not bad, but we'll see. I guess the only thing that matters in the end is who's gonna win. So we'll like get crowned at Night of Champions. We'll get the women's and the men's, the king and queens of the ring, and then we'll get at least John Cena and CM Punk. And then so far I think there's at least 3 matches that's expected to be on that card on the 28th. So we'll see how that goes. After that, we just had a couple of backstage promos. AJ Styles, um, there was New Day, Grayson Waller, and I don't know. Are you what do you how you feel about New Day and Grayson Waller in theory right now? Are they when they pop up on the screen, are you excited to see them? Is it somebody you go, okay, I want to hear what they got to say? I'm interested.
Yeah, not really. Uh,
Eh, that's
New Day, man. I mean, they cool, but we used to the funny and the
mhm,
pounding and the just always having fun. New Day, man. So the new Day is not really they not really it right now, man. I think their bad run is not really a good run for them right now. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. They just need to figure out a way to get back on top. Well, they already on top, but as far as like to be a fan favorite versus being a crowd, a non pleaser of the crowd. You know what I'm saying? And then Austin
mhm.
Theory and Grayson Waller. I mean, I guess it once their feud come to a head, maybe at that point, but they're still, I guess, trying to figure that point out. So
Yeah, I wonder with some of this stuff, is it, we're just going to play the background until a spot opens up. It's kind of like being on a bench waiting for your number to be called.
yeah,
They're just hovering around, and maybe an injury happens, or maybe some backstage stuff go down and some politics that, hey, we need somebody to slide into this spot tonight and enter New Day, enter Grayson Waller and Austin Theory, and we're just waiting because I don't know where they fit on the card. There was no tag match tonight for New Day. Theory and Waller's been having their beef, and it looks like impending doom as well. So I'm not really sure what they're going to be able to do on the card when you're looking at just the lack of space.
yeah.
Lack of space. I don't know what really they're going to be able to. And if you break up, now almost putting more pressure on yourself because you don't have that extra person to be out there with. So
Or who do you run to be able to get some TV time?
yeah, it's a tough spot for all parties involved. It's a tough spot for all parties involved right now with those guys. They just got to get those backstage segments in because there's just not a lot of room to go out there to the ring. I think the only outside the main event, the only matches we had was the 2 fatal 4 ways and AJ Styles and Chad Gable, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
So we had 4 matches total. So that's a lot of backstage segments that could theoretically be replaced with some matches. So I'm not sure. I think based on what we see every week, they're really pushing the backstage segments a lot more,
Yeah,
taking up a lot of TV time between promos and segments backstage. That I think if you took all of that back, you might could get you another 30 to 45 minutes worth of TV time and get another 2 or 3 matches in there. So I don't know if that's the direction they're going in. I think they like pushing the stories forward with the backstage stuff.
yeah.
These guys are gonna have to wait it out. They're gonna have to wait it out.
So let me ask you a question: do you think there's some new groups that can be possibly formed out of some of these beats between like Grayson Waller and Austin Theory and Judgment Day? You think they can come out with some
I
new
don't
group?
think so. I think they're both gonna end up breaking up. Judgment Day and Grayson Waller in theory. They're gonna fight each other. And then after they're done fighting each other, I don't know what's gonna happen with them.
Gotcha.
Theoretically, both of those might find themselves on the outside looking in. If it's Finn Balor and he goes somewhere with Roxanne and Liv runs off somewhere with Dominic, and then they have their matches, I think Finn Balor might get the short end of the stick there, whereas Roxanne and everyone else might still stay more relevant
Right.
than Dominic and Liv Morgan. And then I think the same thing might happen to Grayson Waller. They'll go at it, and then Austin Theory might be the one that stays more relevant because how are you going to be a singles competitor with all of this talent on the roster? What's going to make them say, let's get you in a singles match? So I don't really know what they're going to do. And that might be why they haven't broken up. They're dragging it out because it's gonna make it hard for people to get TV time. We didn't get our signature carrying cross segment tonight. At least I didn't see it. So we didn't even get him backstage doing what he normally does. So even the backstage promos is starting to get hard to come by. So not sure what that's looking like, but it's not enough room. It's not enough room for what they want to do, and at the same time pushing these guys. I do think they can cut back a little bit of the promos or the segments and get us another match or two in there, just to get somebody out there because we had the top dogs with Seth and his team not wrestling on the show.
Hmm.
We haven't been seeing Karrion Cross. We didn't see any Rusev. Rusev is a couple more weeks and we're gonna forget, but he should be back out there next week. So if he wins, it'll make it all better. Him and Sheamus might fight and cost themselves the match and just continue on with whatever feud they may be having brewing as well. So it's gonna be hard to see what that's gonna look like as far as these guys really being able to stay featured once they're out of those tag teams or out of that faction or whatever it may be. So after that, we had Nikki finally make her way to the ring, basically cutting a promo talking about the Women's Evolution pay-per-view PLE coming up next month here in Atlanta. So she was one of those originals that was there for that movement. So she was basically just out there for that purpose. Liv Morgan came out, interrupted her, ended up hitting her with Oblivion, got the best of her in that interaction. I guess this might be setting up something with Liv Morgan and Nikki Bella, two ladies who sort of remind me of each other
Hmm.
as far as what they can do in the ring and their presentation. So that might be the first match that we have inked right now for the Women's Evolution, the all women's PLE. So what do you think about the Women's Evolution and this segment with Nikki Bella and Liv Morgan? Looking at what you thinking.
Well, the WWE is constantly evolving, man. So you know what I'm saying. It's a bunch of new people, man, a bunch of new wrestlers, man. It's especially for the women's division, man. This is a whole new, it's a whole new look, man. Something good, for women, man. And WWE, they always look, down upon, or not necessarily down upon, looking like women can't go, man. And
Mm-mm,
there's some out there, man, that can really, that can really go, man. They really done put their work in, and they need to be seen, man, and heard.
mm-mm.
They definitely want to, get to that next level, man, as far as the greats, the Charlotte, the Beckys, the Baileys, you know what I'm saying, the Bianca. So, they definitely, you know, just as the men division or anything like that, they definitely want to be on top just as much as anybody else. And who else would be, better to, set it off with, with Nikki, you know what I'm saying? She's definitely one of the greats. She's been in the ring many years and all this kind of stuff. So,
Mhm,
she's
mhm.
definitely, definitely that one to push it. Then that whole matchup between her and Liv, if it becomes a match,
Yeah, yeah.
definitely a banger, man. Definitely a banger.
Yeah, so they setting up some stuff for us to you know, hopefully this will be a great PLE coming up. If nothing else, we may see a lot of the women from the past and things of that nature. A lot of nostalgia on that show, but they'll have their
Mhm.
opportunity to really turn up. But we have that and Saturday night main event next month, so we got a lot going on next month. These
Woo.
are coming like back to back to back right now, so
Yeah,
it's
man.
coming
Yeah.
fast. It's coming fast. After that, we did get a package with the promoting the return of Asuka. She's been going on she's been injured for several months now. So she definitely had a run in NXT and a run on the main roster where she was looking pretty good and pretty dominant. So, are you
Mhm.
expecting much from this run for Asuka when she returns next week for her Fatal 4-Way Queen in the Ring match?
Yeah, man. She definitely finna turn it up, man. It's like I said, the women's division, man, been so, down and out, man. So, she's definitely gonna give that spice and that kick back to it, man, because Oscar can definitely go, you know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
she definitely is needed right about now, man, to give that push and that run to, showcase these women on the WWE roster, man, especially Raw. SmackDown is pretty, pretty set. They pretty straight. Their numbers looking pretty good over there. So she'll definitely give some kind of, some excitement back to the WWE Monday Night Raw division.
Yeah, it's she's gonna be jumping right into that crowded field. So I don't know if she comes back and she's with aligns herself with Kyrie and Io Sky again, but I don't even know if she wins this match. I believe she's in the match with Ivy Neal, Raquel Rodriguez, and Stephanie Becker, who is just been newly signed to Monday Night Raw. We just didn't see her tonight. So Stephanie's been on a tear. So I don't know if she's gonna lose, but it's gonna make for an interesting fatal four way. I don't think any of us are suspecting that Raquel Rodriguez or Ivy Neal is gonna win that match. So it's gonna
They
definitely,
just there to make it look
yeah,
good.
make it four
Mm.
women. So we're gonna be looking at Asuka or Stephanie, and it would be tough to see Asuka lose in her match in her return match. That would be kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Stephanie, if it wasn't Stephanie, I would say she'd probably win, but Stephanie's been getting pushed to the moon, so I don't know if she's gonna take that L next week. But it'd be a good look. And they're getting her right back in time for the women's evolution PLE. So definitely gonna be able to add to that. So they got the potential to have a deep card. I don't know if they'll do their 5 match formula that they've been doing for a lot of PLEs with so many women, but you can expect a lot of tag matches and maybe a fatal four ways or something like that during that time. But it's still not a lot of room, even for that, because right now you got a lot of women fighting each other in a lot of different matches, but no one's fighting Io Sky. So I'm not even sure what everybody's fighting for.
Right,
Because if
right.
you're not Becky, if you're not Lyra, if you're not Bailey, you're not in the Intercontinental title picture for the women. So what else is everybody doing?
Mhm.
They just seem to be doing nothing. Raquel and Liv Morgan. Do you remember the last time they defended the women tag team titles?
It's been about a month. I want to say at least a month. What? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. It's been a while, so they're
Yeah.
not defending those titles. Io Sky's not defending her title. And Lyra is looking like the best champion as far as the women on Monday Night Raw right now until she just lost.
Mhm.
But they're making that title look like the prestigious one. It's looking like the main title over there right now. And that's good for Lyra because I do believe on the other side she'll have that title, and maybe she'll get a one-on-one match, or like you said, it could be a triple threat for the women's evolution that they're building to with Bailey and Becky. But these other women, I'm not sure what they're fighting for. They was in the Money in the Bank qualifiers. They just come out there and go. Ain't no rhyme or reason really to it. Now Roxanne moves on, so you still have a bunch of women: Rhea Ripley, Kyrie Sane. All of them just took a loss, so I don't know if they're going to be able to recover. At some point somebody's gotta focus on Io Sky. Somebody has to look in her direction.
So I mean, and why they haven't just had somebody just challenge her? That I don't understand that either.
Yeah,
Like
I don't know what they're doing. She was
that's
kind of an afterthought, but in the lead up to the pay-per-view when it was Bianca and Rhea, and they always made it seem like she was just the third wheel. And now it still looks that way. It just still looks like she's just an afterthought. She's not even getting much backstage segments. And I think this is where I keep saying these inability to cut a promo is hurting her because she can't even do that backstage, and she can't do what New Day does to stay relevant and get some shine, or Karrion Kross would do, or the people in Judgment Day would do, or what we see in Grayson Waller in Theory. All of them are able to just cut promos and hang around backstage and still make it look good and
Right.
still give them some time, but her inability to do that, I think, really hurts her. So I'm not sure if
Well,
she's
I mean, it all goes back to when she first, won the belt. Like, really, what happened that night? You know what I'm saying, between her and Rhea Ripley, where that she was able to, escape, and win the championship from Rhea. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't, they really didn't have a clear cut direction for her to be able to, like you said, be able to have her out there to, to kind of boost herself and make herself look good. And like you said, now it's basically she just been chilling. She had no
Mhm.
real TV time, no real promo time. Maybe what, 2 to 3 words. I don't know, man. It's like I said, if even if somebody beat her, what she do after that? It's definitely gonna push her on back. And that hurts. And I know she wants to succeed in the WWE.
Yeah, I think the women and the men, King and Queen of the Ring, gets a title shot at SummerSlam, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
So I think they're gonna let her rock until then. I don't believe she's gonna leave by SummerSlam. The end of that, I don't see her having the title, and then it becomes what happens next. Like you said, because the Women's Evolution pay-per-view is over. Now your title run is over. So now what are you really gonna do? I just don't see it. I think it was just a place to hold the belt for a little while. Who might step up and be that person that's walking away with it? I'm not really sure. I don't know who that may be as far as, taking that title and doing something with it.
Hmm.
They don't put it back on Rhea, which I doubt. Roxanne is on a certain trajectory right now because she at least qualified and won. And I'm not sure who else. Naomi might surprise and cash in on her or something now that she has the Money in the Bank briefcase. But
That'll be a good look. That'll be a good look.
yeah, they got to do something. They haven't done anything with her title run. We don't care. She's not interesting at all. Nobody is, really. There's not even people asking for real Io Sky match right now. You
So let
know,
me
they
ask you a question. Do you think like the Stephanie's coming over, the Julia's coming over, the Roxanne's coming over? You think they can hold a championship down, even though they just
I think they might get that secondary title first. Julia did attack Zelina Vega on SmackDown, so she might be looking for that Women's United States Championship.
got
I don't think they're gonna let her touch Tiffany Stratton right now. I think Stephanie, we're gonna see next week if she even gets the push to go to the next round in the women's Queen of the Ring. But I don't really think they're ready for that level. I think the only way now you could have a situation where you keep giving that title to somebody who's not meant to be the Tiffany Stratton and just, hey, we're gonna hot potato it around just to make some people happy, get some fans excited. But we know they're not the main champ. The two main champs is on SmackDown. That's John Cena and Tiffany Stratton. I think they're far and clear the main. Those are the titles that have been presented as the main titles. So
Mhm.
I don't see those ladies getting that anytime soon. Even Roxanne is a bit of a stretch. That's a bit of a stretch for me. But I could see a scenario because of the way it's designed. I think there'll only be one challenge at the King and Queen of the Ring. So uh, I think they may pick the champion. I'm not sure how that's working unless they're really doing it per brand,
Mhm.
which I'm not sure of. But I think it's just one match. So it might end up being somebody going against, Io Sky, and then, like I said, a cash in is always possible just to put it in the hands of somebody who they feel like can do a little bit more with it. And also kind of get Naomi out of that, whatever's been going on SmackDown. That's kind of, it lacked fruit. We've seen the stuff with Jade Cargill, but it didn't quite translate into much after. And Bianca getting hurt. So we're not really sure what's going on there. At this point, Naomi might as well just, consider cashing in over there on Monday Night Raw, where it's
I
a
mean, I
little
like
bit.
that though. I like that look for Naomi. You know what I'm saying? But then who would challenge her at that point? You know what I'm saying? But what you think? You
I
like?
think she'll have a lot of new challenges. It at least feel fresh. I
Mhm.
think she'll at least get a lot more segments that are meaningful because of her ability to talk and cut promos. I don't know what it'll look like, but even if she got into it with the Stephanie, it'll give Stephanie more time. It'll give Roxanne more time. Some of those ladies who need a little bit more time to try to get to that next level. Maybe even Lyra, once she get past all of this, maybe her next step is to go for the women's title on Monday Night Raw. So, they just need some time. I don't think these ladies are really ready right now.
But they all we got though.
Yeah, they just, and that's why EO is probably just a placeholder. She just holding it until they're ready because she ain't doing nothing with it. It just, it attracts another audience. It attracts a certain segment of the crowd that does want to see her have some level of success, but I don't think it's really moving the needle from a brand perspective or helping that global perspective when you're looking at what Tiffany Stratton could go out there and promote and be more marketable versus them putting EO Sky in that same position. I don't think it's really helping move the needle in that way, but it does help that core audience that loves EO Sky or some of them to kind of keep them happy for right now. But they're going to look back and be like, yeah, it didn't go too far. It didn't go too well. So, we'll kind of see where that's going to go. After that, though, we had the main event, Jay Uso and Gunther with quite the show to follow. Quite the show to follow. This match was, I think it was a pretty solid match. I was surprised it started when it did. They gave them a lot of time to do what they do, and it was a lot of drama in the match, definitely leading towards the end and not knowing where this thing was going. And eventually, the unthinkable happened.
Yeah.
And main event, Jey Uso fell to the sleeper hold, and Gunther once again regained the World Heavyweight Championship. And now, I don't know. It was definitely I did not expect Gunther to walk away with the title. I think we've been predicting Seth Rollins cashing in or Seth Rollins winning it or just a lot of different scenarios that did not involve Gunther getting the title back. So, but he does have the title back. Jay fought. He did all he could. We are used to seeing Jay lose to Gunther. He has about 4, 5 times before. He's only beaten him one time on the grandest stage of them all, which was a good look. But what do you think about Jay Uso losing this title here, man? I know a lot of people are disappointed, and where does he go from here?
I mean, he's still main event Jey Uso. That's
Mhm.
number one. I really don't know where he can go now, man. It may be time for him to take a break. Take a little vacay, man, and come back and give it another shot. Maybe a month or two from now. And I don't like how they did Jay. I mean, there was a couple. He had a couple weeks off, man, where he didn't really have a lot of matches, or he was like you said, he was cutting a lot of promos, hyping himself up, man. But it just, I felt like, man, they gave Gunther ample amount of time to not have matches 2 to 3 months straight, man, and then Jay just got to go, every night, and like you said, he did want to do that, man. That's what he was, that type of person or wrestler, man. He want to go every night. He want to get the crowd involved, man. But it's just like,
Yeah,
wow, I
yeah.
just
Do you
don't
see a
see it.
scenario where Jay Uso gets that title?
I mean, it's possible. It's possible. It's most definitely possible. It's just, I don't know, man. I don't know why they do him like that, man. He had one of those small, those lighter belts one time before. He had beat somebody. I think he had it for maybe a month and lost it right after that, man. Like,
Mhm.
if you're gonna, crown yourself main event, you got to hold up to that name, man. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. After it went off, man, I've just been trying to figure out, man. Like you said, where did he kind of go? What went
Yeah,
wrong? Did they put too much on him this weekend? Then he hyping up the crowd. He's over inverting itself, man. He's doing a lot. I don't know.
yeah. I don't. It's hard for me to see a scenario where he wins the title back and is not cashed in on by Seth Rollins almost immediately.
Mhm.
But I feel like him not winning the title back may be even more likely. I just don't, again, I always go back to how crowded it is. it's like it's time to move on and move on and move on. Now Gunther has it. Now he's going to fight the winner of the King of the Ring, likely at SummerSlam. There's Saturday Night Main Event in July. Does he have a match at Saturday Night Main Event? And
No.
is that going to be him against Jey Uso? Right. So I mean, there's so many, layers right there where we don't know if Jay can win it back. And if he does, for how much longer does he have it? But I think the field is pretty crowded. I think that he's probably going to get a rematch. I don't know what happens in that particular rematch. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what he could really do. Him getting it back just feels so unlikely. The best thing he does have going is the fan base, the following that can still keep him going without that title. But he was one of those scenarios, unlike what we talked about with Finn Balor, where the destination meant so much, as opposed to the journey. It's like now that he's at that point, we kind of wanted him to stay there
Hmm.
because him falling off. I mean, it could. I mean, you got Seth Rollins coming. Whoever wins the King of the Ring is coming. You still got the possibility of a CM Punk at some point over there on Monday Night Raw. It's real heavy for stacked with competition. And those are just the guys that's currently in the title picture. That doesn't include guys that may be on their way up the ladder that might at least get title shots, even if they're not necessarily winning. At some point, Drew McIntyre might pop back up, or, you might still get some title matches for Chad Gable, just to, make us think he got a chance at winning or something like that. Who knows? It's a lot of potential there as far as the top of the card, even with Sami Zayn possibly getting a shot. I
Yeah.
just I don't know that he's gonna get it back. It was a good run. It was solid. He managed to get himself over. He looked like a champion. He looked like a main event guy. It just didn't happen tonight. And I don't know if he's gonna continue to be able to maintain the momentum he's had, but he's got to figure something out in order to get
I don't know.
back.
Maybe he can get what they could get back with his brother. Maybe they go for the tag team champions. I mean, you got Street Profits to go against, or you got the New Day.
He could.
But
I mean,
I don't even know if he would want to even go that route because you just had to,
yeah, it may be too soon for that. He might need a little bit more time out of the title picture before he does that. And then Jimmy has been trying to get his own singles career going. He hasn't really done anything as far as the singles, so he may want to still keep pursuing that as well.
yeah, it's. I mean, I just hate it for him, man, because it pushes him back down the line so far. You know what I'm saying? Because like you said, everybody's gunning for that belt, man.
Mhm,
Got Steph in the win. You got CM Punk. You got Cody. We still ain't seen where, excuse me, where Roman Reigns is at.
mhm.
He been chilling.
Yeah,
I mean, how could you? I mean, yeah, I mean, you deserve your rematch. Like you said, he got a couple PLEs that's coming up where he can possibly get it back, or a couple events where he can possibly get it back. But why did you lose it in the first place? That's my main question, man. What happened tonight? What it you? I don't know, man.
yeah. I
It
don't
just
know.
sucks for him, man. It just really
He's
sucks.
got one PLE, and that's Saturday night's main event. If they don't do that match, then he doesn't have a shot. They do have a mystery guy for the King of the Ring tournament. So I don't believe they'll put him there just because he's already had his moment. He already had it's time for somebody else to have their moment. And that rotation is going to keep happening because the roster is so deep. We're not going to see those long title runs like what we saw with Roman Reigns because now we're moving now. It's constantly moving. So,
And like you, I mean, it may be a good thing because, like you said, I mean, once he finishes his tour, who's going to take back over and
uh,
SmackDown. You know what I'm saying? And we don't really. Do we really need a Roman Reigns to come back and get the belt again, and then be
uh,
gone 2 or 3 months, wrestle one day, then be gone another 3 to 5 months? Do we need a Cody? You know what I'm saying? Like you said, maybe it's time to just keep playing the potato. Yeah, keep playing. Let somebody get it for 3 months. Let somebody else get it for 3 months. Let somebody else get it for three
uh,
months, and that'll be a good look, man, because it'll really let these guys know that they have a chance to be able to hold a belt. Now you already know, hey, you got your 3 months, enjoy it, get your checks, get your name out there, go do
uh,
your couple movies after you had this belt, do your thing, enjoy it, and give it up when it's time to give it up. You know what I'm saying? So this may be a new look, instead of what Roman had the belt, what five years almost,
Oh,
4 years.
it was a while. It was a while.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Cody had it for a whole year.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it may be, that may be the direction, like you said, that they're going in, man. But hey, do your little 3 months, man, and go. Do your 3 months, go. Do your 3 months, go. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah, it's gonna be one of those things, man. I think Seth Rollins, to me, is more likely to cash in on the John Cena Cody Rhodes saga that's going on over there, uh, and that leaves Raw wide open for those champs to sort of get it and keep it kind of moving and in rotation. Whether that's Jey Uso, CM Punk, because I don't know who's on SmackDown. You got LA Knight over there. At
hmm
some point, maybe you got to look at Jacob Fatu. I think everybody's becoming a bigger fan of Solo Sikoa right now. Like that boy is a fool right now. So, but he's got to get that secondary title under his. But he hasn't won no gold, no tags or nothing.
yeah.
I'm mistaken. So he's got to get something under his belt before he can get to that big one. But he has a crew. He has a team. Once Tamatonga comes back and Tongaloa comes back, and he has JC Mateo, he could still make some noise. He can still make some noise now that Jacob is fully turned on him. And kind
I
of
just don't want Jacob to lose the belt right now, man. 'Cause I'm liking
yeah,
Jacob.
but if he's gonna lose it, I think Solo's a good one
Yeah, yeah, true
because
that.
they can do that until man Survivor Series maybe. They can go at it for the next couple of months with that particular title and make that title mean so much more.
And then the thing about it, they don't even still have to hit a PLE. They can do that on SmackDown and
Uh-huh,
they can close the show out, every
uh-huh,
other week. You know what I'm saying? Let Cena come in there and do his thing. Then the following week, it's Solo and Jacob. You know what I'm saying? Let Cena do his thing again. Let Cena do his thing again, and then
uh-huh,
Jacob and Solo, and then they could possibly throw them on a PLE, for something big, for like a Hell in a Cell, or what I'm
uh-huh,
saying, like a Survivor Series, SummerSlam, since it's two official nights, they could definitely throw them in on that, you know what I'm saying? And either let them open the show or do that mid range, the
uh-huh.
mid range match. So yeah,
Yeah, I think Solo and Jacob is the biggest match they can make on SmackDown right now.
yeah.
I don't think there's a bigger match with the momentum. There's a title in the picture. There's history. I don't think there's a bigger match they can make. Unless you consider John Cena and Cody a SmackDown match, but Cena looks like he's kind of doing some Monday Night Raw stuff right now.
hmm
CM Punk, and so they got to let those guys go. But those are some guys who might be on the way up. And if there's a shuffling of the roster and somehow Solo ends up on Monday Night Raw, he might come for that title. And I like the idea of that title moving around a little bit just to give some people an opportunity, even if it's for a moment.
Yeah,
We've seen, Drew McIntyre have his moment at WrestleMania and then he lost it in the next 5 minutes. So even if it's for a moment, might need to send Gunther over there to SmackDown and let him deal with Cody Rhodes and something that's a little fresher than what he's been doing on Monday Night Raw, because it's really just been him and Jey Uso really going at it for that title. It seems like for so long now.
yeah.
So
Because Seth he never really went for it like that. He never really just
yeah, he had it initially, and ever since Gunther took it, had it. It just he never quite, really came back for it, and
yeah.
he's kind of coming back around. But I'd rather see him with the title that I feel like is the main title that's on John Cena. John Cena has to lose that title. And if he somehow takes it home, which would be unprecedented, then I would definitely expect for him to a new title to emerge,
Mhm.
or just one title, which either way would make it the bigger title. And I think that's the one Seth Rollins needs to have. But it's a lot of guys that's on the way up, that is going to be challenging for this thing. So, I think we just want to see them get that title, that main title, and give some guys an opportunity to just say they climb that mountaintop before
Yeah.
we start getting even more guys from NXT coming up, or guys from TNA, or guys coming from AEW. It's always that possibility of so many more people coming in that might be able to get right into that title picture just based on name value, or what that push might look like. So you know?
Yeah, it may be time for like Roman to become like the Undertakers of the world and the Triple H's and the Shawn Michaels, where they they make that big appearance, man, come out and
Mhm.
pop they ish, and then go back into the trenches for a little second, man, and chill out, and then again pop out for another good event.
Mhm.
Because like you said, it's definitely time for a mix up, man, where everybody get to
Yeah.
touch the belt now, man. Even with Gunther, man, like let him have it for about a month or so, man, and definitely
Mm,
get it for him. See, he's entertaining, he can wrestle, but we can put Chad up there, man. You know what I'm saying? We can put
mhm,
Pence up there. We never heard Pence really talk, but let him get it for him. It's time for some new blood. And like I said, it's maybe those bigger guys. They're weaning their way out. And becoming the Undertakers of the world, and the Triple H's and the Shawn Michaels and the Rocks and all that kind of stuff, man. When they maybe more behind the scenes, or they doing their own thing.
mhm. Yeah, we gonna definitely got some new blood coming. I don't think Gunther holds it past SummerSlam. I'd be pretty surprised if he does on a big 2 night SummerSlam. I don't really expect Gunther to hold on to it, so we might begin to change soon, if not at the Saturday night's main event. We'll see. So, but overall, what you thought about the show tonight, outside of the disappointment with Jay?
It was good, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just like you said, man. It's so much, so many ways, so many people, so many new. It just a new look, man, and they just definitely got to keep us hyped about the next day, the next show, the next PLE, the next visit, the next city, the next state. They just got to definitely keeping us wanting more. You know what I'm saying? So, and I think they're going in that direction. We're wanting it to move pretty quickly, but we have to let like life, we have to let it take its course, let it develop, and let it become what it's going to become. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I'm liking the look. It's just like I said tonight when Jay lost the belt, man. It just, I just thought it was a little bit more that he could have done, or he a little bit longer, man.
Mm,
Like you said, once you explain that to me, as far as the hot potato of the belt right now, that's still a good look. You know what I'm saying? He had his opportunity to make his name big, and he really did. He took his whole name to a whole nother level. You know what I'm saying? So, it's looking good. Because everybody's gonna get a chance to be able to make their name and their face known. You just gotta, when it's your moment, you gotta take it over. You gotta make sure everybody know you at that point, man, and enjoy
yeah.
it for that little moment, and let the next man have it.
Yeah, you never know how much time you're gonna get, so you got to be ready when your number is called right now. So overall, I thought it was a great show. It ended big. I mean, it started big, it ended big. From Cena Punk to Seth Rollins to Jey Uso and Gunther with the title changing. Had a few things in between for us, so I think it was a pretty good show tonight. Definitely appreciate you coming on, jumping on with me tonight.
Oh, no problem. Appreciate you, man.
Everybody for watching, listening, wherever you get your podcast. Please don't forget to subscribe wherever you listening, wherever you listen to your podcast. Definitely iHeart, Spotify, Apple, wherever you listen. Definitely subscribe. Definitely like. Please continue to follow us. Please continue to join the conversation. We definitely appreciate everybody listening and keeping up with the Wrestle for Real podcast. We'll be seeing you guys next week, same time, covering Monday Night Raw, doing another post show next week. So we'll see how they follow up. And for now, we'll see y'all later. All right. I appreciate it, man.
Appreciate you, man.